Some days, the world feels like a heavy wool blanket that has been soaked in the rain. Sora sat in the center of his room, surrounded by half-finished projects and lists of things he should want to do. The clock on the wall ticked loudly, marking time that felt wasted, and the silence in his chest felt even louder than the clock. He walked to the window and pressed his forehead against the cool glass. Outside, the city moved in a blurred rush of neon lights and umbrellas. To Sora, it felt like everyone else possessed a secret engine that kept him humming along, while his own gears had finally ground to a silent, dusty halt. He wondered if he was the only one who felt like a ghost in his own life. Suddenly, a tiny spark of warmth brushed against his ankle. Sora looked down and blinked in surprise. A small, floating creature made of soft, golden light was circling his feet. It didn't look like a ghost or a monster. It looked like a stray piece of the sun that had decided to move indoors. "Who are you?" Sora whispered, his voice cracking from hours of silence. The little spirit, whom Sora decided to call Lumen, didn't answer with words. Instead, it floated toward a dusty corner of the room where an old wooden easel stood forgotten. Lumen began to dance around a single dried-out paintbrush, its golden trail weaving through the bristles until they began to shimmer with a faint magical dew. Sora approached the easel with hesitance. He picked up the brush, feeling the weight of 1,000 what-ifs, and it won't be good enough. His hand trembled. The motivation he used to have wasn't gone, he realized. It was just buried under the fear of failing. He looked at the blank canvas, which felt like a giant, staring-eyed judging his every thought. "I can't," Sora sighed, dropping his hand. "Everything is too heavy. I'm just so tired of trying to be someone who does things." He sat back down, the gray weight returning to his shoulders. He felt like a failure for not being able to even make a single mark. He expected Lumen to disappear, disappointed by his lack of spark. But Lumen didn't leave. Instead, the little spirit floated onto the canvas and pressed its soft, glowing body against the center of the white space. It left behind a single perfect dot of gold. Then it looked back at Sora and chirped a sound like a silver bell. It wasn't asking for a masterpiece. It was just asking for a start. Sora reached out and placed his hand next to the golden dot. He realized that he had been waiting for a flood of inspiration to carry him away, but maybe all he needed was a puddle to step in. He didn't have to change the world today. He just had to move his hand. He took the brush and drew a single wobbly line connecting to Lumen's dot. As the line grew, the gray walls of the room didn't disappear, but they didn't seem so tall anymore. Sora realized that being unproductive wasn't a crime, and being lost was just another way of saying he was exploring a path he hadn't mapped yet. He took a deep breath, and for the first time in weeks, the air didn't feel heavy. It felt like an invitation. The sun began to peek over the horizon, turning the city outside from a blur of neon into a garden of glass and stone. Sora opened the window, letting the morning breeze swirl around him. Lumen settled onto his shoulder, a constant, quiet warmth. He wasn't cured, and the lists were still there, but the silence was gone. He was seen, he was heard, and he was finally ready to just be.